Viewer discretion is advised.
I think we're here. Feels like we're here. Maybe we're here. I thought I was all the way muted. Turns out I was just muted from stream. So poor Rem had to listen to the clicking, the coughing, and the other random bell sounds that happen, you know, occasionally. They're not, like, really weird, guys. So, you know, we don't have to get crazy. But, happy Thursday. You're listening and or watching Pwnecast. This is episode 208. We are in patch 7.3.5. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Most of them are going to be BFA in nature because that was kind of the theme for today. Lots of really good things, though. I'm kind of excited for some of the topics, not so excited about the others. Mostly because triggering emotions is not always a good thing. So there's that. But, yeah, we have tons of stuff to talk about. So make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there are those who defy convention, the proud who laugh in the face of trolls and never flinch, the few who strive on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve, they who eat tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you She Can Start a Revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Bell the Pwnecast Vanguard. Through light and darkness, he commands the void, Remedies the Sage Lore Master. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are Pwnecast.
Hey, this is Perculia from Wowhead, and you're listening to Pwnecast, which is totally awesome.
Honestly, that's probably the cutest bumper I've ever heard in my natural adult life. And I have to say adult life because I might have heard weird things like that. Not in adult life, child life. I don't really know what I meant to say there, guys. I feel like it was going to be a good thing, but I'm a little confused. In case you are new to Pwnecast, my name is Belle. With me is my co-host with the grumpy most, because he is a grumpy gills today, Remedies. He also looks very much like a 12-year-old boy.
I look 12, so I'm 40, so it's all good.
He's got this little, like, it wants to be a mustache super bad, but it's struggling. It's the same thing with my husband. Like, he really wants to grow a beard, but it tries.
Because it's like 2 days old. Get off my back, okay?
It just makes you look dirty, though. I keep wanting to wipe your upper lip because I feel like it's unclean. No? Yeah, he's grumpy, guys. This is what I have to deal with on a daily basis, pretty much. Like, the bad part about it is I'm already a grumpy individual by nature, so when he's grumpy, it doesn't make it any better because then you just have two grumpy people. Whereas, like, my husband's the opposite. He's always happy all the time because everything is always awesome, even when it's not. So I feel like, you know, there's no offset there. Yeah, that's his awkward smile. But, so for Tuesday's reset, which is May 1st, which is next week, just in case you guys don't know what day it is. Sometimes I don't know what day it is, so I'm not judging. The weekly event is going to be the Time Walking Dungeons, and the PvP Brawl is Warsong Scramble, so get in there and do, you know, the things. Right? You know, the things.
Yeah, the cha-cha.
Yeah. Hot fixes this week. Really, the only one to note is the expected Antorus Mythic nerfs. I'm assuming we'll probably continue to see them as we get closer to the pre-patch because they want to help people be able to get the achievements, you know, the what is there's you get the mount, right? There's a guaranteed mount, and then after BFA comes out, it's no longer a guaranteed mount. It's like a 2% drop rate, and you get the what is the name of that dang achievement?
Are you talking about the bird?
No, the mythic mount that you get for.
I heard the bird was the word.
I knew you were gonna say that. I should have known. You would think that I would know better by now to expect this type of behavior from you. The bird is the word, though.
Yeah, it is. I don't remember the mount, but yeah.
Yeah, there is a mount. But Agrimar now begins stage 3 at 35% health on mythic difficulty. The embers of Skulablushablop now spawn with 0 energy in mythic difficulty. What
That's
is
a
that?
big nerf.
What is that word?
The Fliggenflargen?
The Fliggenflargen. We're just going to call it the Fliggenflargen because I honestly wouldn't even know how to enunciate that whole situation. Those of you that are raiding and lots of raiding probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about the sword, Tashalak.
What is it? Tashalak? The embers of Tashalak. Not what I thought it said. I'm not even going to go into what I thought it said. The damage of the empowered flame rend is now reduced by 25%, which is, that's a pretty big, like, that's a big damage reduction. And for Argus, his health has been reduced by 5% in mythic difficulty. So go, you know, do mythic things, get your groove on. You know, there's a title called The Chosen if you do Trial of Valor in mythic difficulty. That's going to be going away.
I don't know. I really like my Gullible title.
I really need to figure out why I can, like, why our boxes are not aligned, my dude. I got it. We're good. What did you say about mythic difficulty?
I don't say anything about mythic difficulty. I said that's a cool title, but I'd rather have the Gullible title. I had that on all my tunes.
I feel like that's kind of fitting. Don't you agree?
That's why I have it on all my tunes.
Yeah, I feel like that's fitting. I'm in, though. Also, for some quick news items, Volunteer Guard Day is on the 28th. Go volunteer to be in service of your country.
Yeah.
Realm.
Kingdom.
Place. Continent.
Thing.
Map. Yeah, go do... You get to be a guard and... You know.
What they should do is allow you to choose what kind of guard you want to be. Do you want to be a dwarf, a night elf?
I'll agree with that. I agree with that. We should give them service, guys. These guards, you know, they take care of us.
Honestly.
Yeah, and we always expect them to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're mean to people and then they're not there anymore. They always expect you're going to be there. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a valid? Do I feel like I made that?
Yeah.
I feel like I made that work. See, guys, I got it together. We were new last week. We were super new last week. So new, in fact.
I don't acknowledge last week.
Like, we were so new that it took me way longer to upload and do all the things than it normally does because it's so habitual for me. But that 1 week of not doing it is like my brain completely fried. And it was like midnight or 1 in the morning. And I just thought this shit should have took me like 30-45 minutes. I've been doing this for 5 years. I shouldn't even have to think about it. It should just be a thing. And that's not what happened last week. It was a tough thing. Also, guys, exciting. Children's Week begins on the 30th. You get to go abuse your orphan. This is like...
Eat candy in front of them, taking in the battles. It's amazing.
It really hurts my feelings that we have to do that. I know it's probably like right in your wheelhouse of weird shit that you don't mind doing, but it hurts my feelings.
So this is kind of morbid, but it honestly reminds me kind of what the system is in the first place. Like...
Well, I suppose when you think of it in terms of that, that's actually pretty accurate. So I can't really I can't disagree with you there, honestly. I agree with that. But the reality of the situation is you need this if you want your Violet Proto-Drake. If you want to do the What a Long Strange Trip, if you want to do stuff... sorry I keep squeaking. I haven't figured out the secret to leather and how to make it not do stuff. So anytime I move, it just squeaks super loud. And I was trying to hide my camera so you guys couldn't see my Amazon box behind me.
But that didn't happen.
Why does it keep...
Just it. But the trick is not to pass gas on the leather and it won't make sounds anymore.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out why the box keeps getting messed up. Ugh, guys. I swear I'm not new.
What's in the box?
Like, randomly, the yellow line will be there. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, maybe that... Oh, nope. We're okay. We got it. We're okay, guys. We're okay. Let me just make... I'm going to make you bigger so people could really see all your facial hair. Because I feel like that's really the ticket, right? Guys, you should be proud of him. He's been growing this thing for like 3 days.
2 days.
Yeah, like he's
2 days.
he knows exactly, what he's about.
It's for science, just to prove that I can. So I
don't
can
really
tell
think
myself.
it's for science. I think it's for shame. My brother said to me, when are we going to play video games together? And I said, I don't know. When are you going to do my job so that I have time to do video games? And he goes, you play with Rem more than you play with me. Obviously, he used your real name. And I'm like,
Not really. Not lately.
no. I mean, we're pretty much on opposite sides of the time schedule spectrum. But I feel like he's...
Especially next month. Oh, God.
Why?
4 in the morning.
What's happening next month?
4 to 6 in the morning. On call till 9.
Early days, though?
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, oh, yeah.
Like, you'll have early days, though.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a great thing.
I mean, it sounds nice, but then some months I'm on call until 9 at night. Sometimes midnight, depending on...
That's not fun for anyone, Rem.
No.
But I think it's a good thing because in the future, we are looking at doing the show a little bit earlier so that we could fill a time gap. So I think that that's good. I mean, even if it's on a weekend, if we change the show day.
See. The good news is I don't have to do Saturdays. It's not mandatory, so...
Well, I wouldn't do the show on Saturdays. That's my...
I'm just saying, like, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think it's nice. Hopefully, I have a plan, guys. And I'm going to tell you my plan before we move on with the rest of the show so that you guys are aware of my plan. So my husband built this beautiful temporary wall. It's insulated. It traps the heat in. I fucking roast in here when it's showtime when the fake door is shut. Literally, like, everything is sweaty. And it's not really soundproof. It wants to be really bad, but it just isn't soundproof. Now, the thing has always been, because this is basically a loft, and my desk is really too big to move into the guest bedroom.
It's obnoxiously
Yeah,
big.
it's like a presidential desk. I got this sucker for $120 off Craigslist, and it's like a $3,000 executive U-shaped desk. So... because I'm unwilling, whenever someone suggests me getting a different desk, I'm just having a huge meltdown. So I love my husband when he did this for my birthday because he was trying to just be aware of the fact that the kids are loud and, it's hard you can't control children any more than you can control me, really, to be perfectly honest. So the trick has always been because we don't own this home. I can't do much to it without ruining it. Well, thanks to Bob Vila, I found how to build the perfect temporary wall.
Bob the Builder?
No, Bob Vila. If you can believe it. Yeah, no. Insulation. It's like heat. It traps the heat. It even says on the side of it that it holds in the heat. And I'm like, it's about to be summer. Anyway, long story short. Rem's probably going to have to come help move the desk because we might have to adjust the desk's, general location.
What weekend did you want to do that? I might be...
Nobody wants to move this desk. It takes like 5 people. Well, thanks to Bob Vila, there's a great DIY on using Still Seal. It's like this foam stuff that you put on the sides of the wall, the ceiling, and the floor so that your temporary wall frame doesn't ruin the house. I guess that's how a lot of people do it in New York.
Keeps it separate. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. So thank you, Bob Vila. After all these years, he still helps me. Like he's the only one. And Quiet Rock is going to be what I put instead of drywall. And Quiet Rock is rated for, I forget the decibel rating. I have to go down to a special place to get it. It's a little bit pricey, but the rest of the wall stuff is going to be really cheap. So I'm really hoping I can get the husband to go tomorrow to get the stuff.
So is it going to be a quiet place?
Maybe, but he doesn't want to do the wall here. He wants right when you walk up the stairs, he wants to close off this whole place.
Oh, plus that little...
I didn't want him to do that because he doesn't like the fact that when he games, he's separated from being able to hear the children.
Aww.
I hear the children. It doesn't matter if they're whispering. I hear them because I have supersonic mom hearing, but...
I thought he was going to say something like, oh, I can't see you, so he'd feel sad.
It is kind of annoying that we can't visually see each other because sometimes, like, I'll say something to him and he can't really hear me or he doesn't know I'm talking to him and I get annoyed. I do that thing when someone doesn't listen, I get annoyed, but when I do it, it's totally fine. So, anyway,
Yep.
So now we're getting the, and I have all the foam, those little foam egg crate coney things, whatever they are, for the outside, and I need to put it along this wall because my daughter's bathroom. But anyway, the good news
Coney
about that
Island.
is it does leave it open for us to be able to, you know, do different things. Maybe earlier, it leaves it open for me to be able to just do things without having to be so around the kids' schedule. Because right now, like, thanks to the teacher strike, the walkout, they're home until, we don't know, they might never go back to school at this point. So now that we veered way far off the subject with things that you guys probably didn't give two shits about, guys, we have BFA beta, everyone. Beta. Now, I don't know if everybody understands the difference. There really isn't a difference between alpha and beta.
One word is alpha, the other is beta. That's the difference. Hello?
The thing about, like, beta and alpha is they're relatively the same. You know? They're just different builds and different stages. If you had alpha, you have beta. You don't have to have a separate set of access, just so you're aware. There seems to be confusion where people are like, I got alpha and beta. Yeah, you had the same access. You're good. You probably, a lot of people probably got beta. I saw a ton of guildies got it, and
All right, there's been a lot of invites going out, and there's
Yeah.
still going to be many more. So
oh yeah.
keep that in mind.
To clarify a few things, you don't have to have an active subscription for your account to be flagged for beta. That's not the way that it works. It pulls from the list.
Yeah, it seems you need to be opted in. That's it.
Yep, as long as you've opted in on your Battle.net, you know, you might be able to get it in. The other good news, did I just say that? You can use add-ons in alpha. I used add-ons in alpha.
That's how
damage
the content creators are able to keep it updated for launch. Is,
Yeah.
so help them out.
I have, I mean, I don't use my UI
That's no.
add-ons, but,
You wait a week after launch.
yeah, usually, like, big add-on, they'll go in and fix it and do it so that you can use it in there. But I was using the damage meter in alpha. It just depends on what you use, and sometimes it'll throw errors, and you just have to shut it off. But you can use it. But you do not have to have an active subscription. So if you're not subbed but you're opted in, your account still could be flagged for beta. The way that they do the flag waves, I don't know exactly how they roll them out, but I feel like they do it on I think they have a set amount that they flag per wave just to make sure that the servers can handle it. But big organizations will have beta keys to give out. Wowhead usually gives out like 11 million.
Yeah, they'll probably be doing the giveaways soon.
And really, guys, we're on the downhill slope. Like, it's already May in, like, what, 4 days?
Yeah, it's gonna be May.
I think we're going to see the pre-patch, you know, the middle of June. Like, it's literally right around the corner. So I don't think it's that big of a deal one way or the other. So if you haven't gotten beta, or if you're one of those people that really super wants it and you haven't got it, just stay up to date with all the big organizations. They'll have contests, and it'll usually be random. Method will be giving away tons of keys. I'll probably try to snag a few for the show, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, the other thing regarding the alpha and beta to me suggests a more permanent state of being. So alpha, a lot of things are super rough. We didn't even have access to any other map except one on each side for the factions. Alpha is just like a super rough cut of things that they want to push out to have tested. Beta, that's really where they get to refine kind of what we're doing
And
now,
solidify it, yeah.
Right, yeah, they get to fix with our input, and, you know, with testing and things like that. They really just kind of get to refine what they're doing. I saw a forum thread, and this forum thread, it was very valid. It's time for the show, guys.
That's
I have not changed the alarm yet. I saw a forum post, and in this forum post, this person was like, we're already in beta, we're doomed, everything's going to be broken, this is going to be a shit expansion.
really, 'cause it's been actually pretty solid in the alpha.
Yeah, there hasn't been. I mean,
compared
there's
to launches that I've seen before. It's
yeah.
pretty good. Like,
There's-
the only issue has been like cages.
Yeah, there's random things, and that's okay. There was a random, like, pile of coal. I want to call it coal because it was, like, dark it looked like a pile of coal in one of the houses. It was like it was taller than me when I was in.
I don't think that was coal.
I don't know, but I do understand people being scared, especially because to me they were a little bit on the late train launching alpha. I feel like it should have been done, really you want it to be a good amount of time. But also we're forgetting the main factor here. They don't have to have an entire expansion done and tested because they roll it out BFA just how they rolled out Legion. And you guys saw how smooth that went with Legion. The launch was stellar. The content patches, perfect. I mean, what more could you ask for? They really fixed a lot of their problems kind of in one expansion.
I don't know. Wasn't nothing compared to the selfie camera update. That was hands down.
No, it was life-changing.
Content. Yeah.
It was life-changing. I don't know how I'm going to be okay if they don't add additional selfie filters. But here's the thing. If you are one of those people that got beta or alpha or whatever, I say this every single expansion. Make sure you test and you don't just use it as a means to stream. Don't just use it as a means to play the game. Don't just use it as a means to go and see the new things. Really do your due diligence and report. Those of you that have watched me stream it, you see me stop in between each quest and give the feedback, whether it's just simply, yes, the quest is good, or, hey, these things, whatever. You really just need to do that because I don't think people realize the responsibility that comes with having early access to something like that, because essentially we're responsible for, things working the way that they should and making sure that the devs know it's hard for them to catch everything. And we're really quick to report that stuff when it's live. We need to have that same... we need to give that same level of effort. So if you guys do have beta access, please take it seriously and use it. It's really important that you use it and you help make the game, what it should be, so that we have a smooth expansion. They made it really easy too. So
yeah, if you've never tested before, they make it super easy. And end of the quest, end of like a rare spawn, end of a boss, it allows you to put feedback. Was there a bug or not? Easy peasy.
Yep. And yes, Angie's 100% right. Beta and alpha, it is a responsibility. You don't just get to get it because you want to make YouTube videos or you want to try to make yourself famous on the internet. You really need to do something with it, whether it's discussion or feedback or whatever the case may be, or helping other people understand the good and the bad that's happening so that they can have an opinion to help kind of drive the direction. But it isn't just for you to make yourself famous. A friend of ours, Murky, the other day is like, you guys should be streaming alpha more. Why? I'd rather be in there paying attention to it versus paying attention to streams so that I can gather my thoughts and do what I need to do when it comes to that. So, and I feel like really every Tom, Dick, and Harry is streaming alpha, so we're really okay. We're not dying, right?
It's settled. It's settled down a little bit.
Has it?
Yeah.
I don't really watch a lot of Twitch stuff. I mean, I have my favorite people that I like to watch, but I don't really step outside of my box. I
just go browsing just to see what people are streaming at the time. I'm not like
watching
you? Everybody. Yeah, no, I'm just make sure keep
seeing what's up, seeing who's in the know, who's got the get down. But beta's good. It's good that it's in beta. Now we get to refine and really we get to really kind of see what everything's all about. So I think it's good things. But we have a beta.
Now that they have the world maps updated, they've got all the achievements in there, so it's all just fine-tuning everything. So it's soon TM.
Honestly, the world maps is what tells me we're in the right direction of completion, because that's always the thing that they do last, and it's the thing that I look forward to most, because I live by the map, right? I don't know direction. When Rem tells me south, I'm like, let's pretend I know what south means and give it to me in like a direction left or right purpose, because I don't really know what that means. I get lost in the car and I have a compass in my rearview mirror, direction-wise. I know, it's a thing. But I get lost in game also. I mean, are we really surprised? But here's what's really weird about that. I mean, Rem will tell you, it's bad. It's bad leveling with me. It's bad dungeoning with me. I hate doing the older dungeons because I'm always the one that's lost. And I'm the type of person that rather than feel stupid for being lost, I'm just going to stand there or I'm going to leave the dungeon because I feel dumb. So, but when I really know something, I really know something. When it's something that I really like I will always remember and I will really know it and I will not get lost. Because there's a lot of stuff in game that's very random that most people wouldn't remember that I do and can go right to it. So it's one of those things where I guess if it's fun for me or if
It's part of your selective thinking /
yeah, probably.
hearing / everything.
Probably right a little bit. I know a lot of the Draenor maps, like in my brain, I could go right to certain places. And I didn't really particularly dislike Draenor. I didn't love it either, but I didn't dislike it. I thought it was, it was a filler expansion, I guess. It was a we don't really know what we're going to do expansion, but we're just going to give you some shit to do.
It was the Cataclysm 2.0, pretty much.
Yeah. Ian in his...
Working
In
as
the
intended.
Q&A today, he said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so bad, I wanted to be like...
What about guilds?
What about Destro, my dude? Like, hi, you've broken it when it wasn't broken so many times. You know, it's a funny thing about that, Angie. I actually already have a lot of Borealis memorized from Alpha. Because I love it. I love the map. It's very beautiful to me. Because it reminds me of Grizzly Hills and Storm Peaks. It's kind of like a combination in my brain. Yeah.
No surprise, it's changed.
Rude. Yeah, I'm already pretty good. Only Borealis, though. The other two, it's a little fuzzy. Well, Justfar's not that complicated. It's just... I was in awe of kind of the...
Borealis is a
visuals.
small part. Well, it's a pretty large part of the Tiergard sound, so you're gonna have to learn the.
It's pretty big, right? That's probably what she said. I would
Said.
imagine if there was a conversation that was had, she probably said it. But yeah, some of the Horde stuff is really where I struggle because my brain is so wired for Alliance that Alliance always has like, you guys know, visually. Where certain things are located, it's common for a certain faction. You just have that memory. Horde stuff is really difficult for me to kind of grasp the concept, like leveling the Nightborn. I'm really out of my element because I don't know things and I don't like to be new. Whereas Alliance, I can say, okay, I know that there's probably down here, there's going to be this because this is something that would be Alliance. The Horde stuff will probably be a little bit complicated for me. I'm just going to have to lean on Rem and annoy the shit out of him. And make him cart me around. Because if he doesn't, and I have to mount myself, we're never going to get anywhere. Literally and figuratively, in fact. If I have to do things myself, we're going to get lost in the shuffle. So, let's talk about some Q&A highlights, shall we? Guys. Specific queuing for larger battlegrounds, which Blizzard is labia. Nice.
Whoa.
That escalated super quickly. Blizzard is labeling that to the epic battlegrounds. Now, I was really excited. Like, I was freaking pumped. We knew about this yesterday, I think, or the day before, when somebody was in beta and noticed that they could do that. And WoW had picked it up and wrote up a thing on it, and then Blizzard did a blue post on it. I was really excited because this is the larger battlegrounds, which is what it's labeled now, but I think they're going to change it to epic. It's just the two right now. So it's your Alterac Valley and your Isle of Conquest, right? It's not Tolbarad. It's not Wintergrasp. It's not anything else. It is just those two. I'm stoked about this because I don't necessarily want to always have to worry about Alterac Valley, right? Then, as the Q&A goes on today, I get very disappointed. Rem, why was I disappointed?
Because you still have to deal with Strand of the Ancients.
With part of that change, they are making it where they're removing blacklisting. Because their idea is the only reason people blacklist is for the larger battlegrounds.
That's probably the most common blacklisted. That's what I would do. Isle of Conquest, right. Alterac Valley, get the hell out of here. Whereas you, the easiest one in there, Strand of the Ancients.
Yeah, because apparently you've won every single, you've never lost a Strand of the Ancients.
I didn't say I won every single one.
But I can tell you, I can count on one hand how many times my battle group in Alliance has won Strand of the Ancients. One hand.
You have a lot of fingers.
I just don't like it in general. I don't like it from a random perspective. People, it's difficult to organize already in a random situation like that because most people don't listen. They don't care to listen. They don't want to do strategy. They're just there to make your mom jokes in chat and tell you to get good. There isn't a lot of good experience when it comes to queuing for randoms like that. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to tell me, well, I have a great time. That's great that you do. I don't have a lot of good experiences and I think that's most people. In fact, sometimes in a battleground, I'll actually turn off the chat if it's super toxic because sometimes it's unnecessarily so. It's the person with the lowest damage in the battleground calling everybody.
Or the healer that's AFK like on the flag.
Yeah, calling everybody scrubs. But Strand of the Ancients just isn't on my list of favorites. I don't enjoy the dungeon. Or the battleground. I don't enjoy it at all. I enjoy it if there's 5 of us, because at least I know 5 of us are going to do something that we're supposed to do. I like randoms when there's a couple of us in there, so that at least I know that a few of us can get the strategy done. But I'm a little disappointed that they are removing that. But I understand. I get it. I'm going to try to do my best to be positive about it because maybe they ran numbers.
I think you're going to get Strand of the Ancients least than you think, because the only thing that I missed about Strand and when it was better is when you could have a buddy on the demo. Like, they changed a lot of things about it, but
I'm not the only one that doesn't do Strand of the Ancients. Neither does Angie. Angie's like my twin. Her and I are like soul sisters that we never knew existed.
well, she can be your new best friend.
We're like 2 parts of one like whole. Honestly. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, I feel like what is the word? Simpatico. Is that a word? It's a song.
Sure.
Well, in a movie.
2 parts.
Whatever. So I'm a little disappointed that I'm going to be stuck dealing with that. I'm going to try my best to move on from that. I'm really hoping they'll reconsider. I don't know that it hurts anything by them leaving the blacklist in there. I don't understand. Again, Ian said the words, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hi, it isn't broke. Why are you fixing it?
Again, I think it's because majority of the people
okay, I
click
get
off
it. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. I get it.
So what's...
But it's not hurting anything leaving it in. What is it hurting leaving it in? What's it hurting? Who is it hurting?
Me. Because I like Strand of the Ancients and I can't have my friend in Strand of the Ancients.
That simple little... Okay, that's valid. That simple little... I like Isle of Conquest, though, which is kind of weird. Like, you hate that I love Isle of Conquest. I love Isle of Conquest.
I hate it, but it's an easy win, so I accept it.
I like it because I understand the strategy. AV, although I get the strategy, sometimes when we start getting into, like, backcapping and all that kind of stuff, I just get a little bit confused because there's so many, like, moving parts. Isle of Conquest, I get exactly what we need to do. The objective, how you need to break out those objectives, like, it speaks to me. I totally get it. AV, I love AV. Sometimes I just don't really know what I'm doing in there. Because there's a lot of people to...
You just follow the crowd.
I do. I just follow the crowd. And if I see a potential for, if they start yelling, we need a back cap, then I try to run back. And then I get farmed at a graveyard for the rest of the AV, which is not my favorite. But, I mean, I guess that's just the nature of PvP, really. You can't complain about that. It's the nature. But...
Well, if you're at the bottom of the bracket, maybe.
Maybe people will learn how to play Alterac Valley. But I gotta be honest, I'm a little disappointed that that's what they're doing. I feel like I might post a little bit of feedback on the forums to just say, hey, if this isn't hurting anybody, because essentially the blacklist, when you X off the 2 you don't want, all it does is remove it from the code so that it doesn't get pulled in your queue. Or is it costing you money to run that additional line of code?
I think so. That extra penny, man.
Well, I'm gonna need him. I'll donate to the Save a White Girl
Penny for your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll donate for that. But as we always say, things could change. Maybe,
Oh, have they said if you can run same queue like Epic Battlegrounds plus Battlegrounds, or is it completely separate? Where if you
It's a completely
keep
separate
one,
queue
can't
right
keep
now.
the other.
Like right
No,
now,
but
it's a
can you
completely.
simultaneously queue for them? Or not?
I don't know. Angie would probably know because I know she was doing it. Because I seen a post of hers on Twitter, and then before I saw her post, I saw Winstead from Technically PvP who tweeted a picture. Before, I think that was actually before the blue post went up, letting everybody know about it. But Angie might be able to tell you because I actually
Okay.
haven't been in there to. Oh yeah, so you can queue for both.
Okay.
Which is, you know, cool.
Can't wait
but,
to know.
guys, I have a secret. It's not really a secret and it's not mine, but I have something that I literally did my whole happy dance, scream, hands in the air. They are retiring Ashran, and here's the thing. It doesn't bring any value to my life one way or the other. I know there was people that still did the Ashran stuff. After they did the last round of big changes in Draenor, Ashran was useless.
Yep.
I liked it in the beginning, although a lot of people did not. I did like it. I understood the strategy. The strategy made sense to me. If you were fortunate to get with other like-minded individuals who understood that strategy, it was actually quite fun. I spent a lot of time in Ashran.
That was my biggest problem with it, is the fact that if you did not have either a pre-made group like the Avengers or the...
we're not going to talk about the other group, but yes.
But yes,
yeah,
if you didn't have them, it was kind of...
It was a mess. Or if you didn't have a couple people with you that knew what they were doing to at least help you do stuff. But I spent a long time, a lot of my PvP time was spent in Ashran because I dug the vibe. A lot of people didn't like it, but I really, you know, I did like it. Then, God bless Holinka. He tried to make everybody happy, and he tried to...
You mean Golinka now?
He tried to fix things, and in fixing it, he made it just useless.
Worse.
So I didn't step in Ashran again after that. So with it bringing no value, bye bitch. Like, I'm gonna need you to just go retire to where they put all things that they pandered to people that cried about Ashran and made it worse. So, but I also want to tell you guys, I'm not sure if a lot of you are aware, especially some of you that are newer to World of Warcraft. I know the joke about Ashran and all those things, but here's the facts. Beta testers are the reason Ashran was shit. Because nobody reported any of the things and any of the complaints with the pacing, the things that you had to do, your objectives. Nobody. There were some reports, but everybody was like, this is the best thing ever in life. I remember because I was pumped because people were so excited about testing it and stuff like that. I didn't get alpha, I think, in Draenor. I think I got beta, but yeah, that was a victim. And Holinka even said, hey, all the guys that had alpha, all the Swifties and all these guys that were doing these massive groups to get people into Ashran, nobody said a word. It was awesome. It was super awesome. Well, that's what happens when you don't properly report stuff. But I liked it.
That's what happens when you let your heart win.
Right. But it is going away. If you have stuff that you need to do achievement wise, go get it done. They're going to move those achievements to they're being moved to Legacy. So obviously with Ashran being gone, there's no thing. On that same note, really quickly, let's talk about PvP. So I thought they had announced solo queue because for some reason something came across my feed that said they announced it. There was a blue post. The blue post was, let me get the exact date. I feel like it was yesterday. Hold on. Like Bertha's not happy about her life. Yeah, it was yesterday. So there was a post by a person who talked about being able to solo queue for Arena, right? Just 1v1. We've talked about it a few times on the show. I didn't like the idea at first. Rem had some points that he made. And I was like, okay. I could dig it. I could get down. Like, that might be kind of cool. This guy that did the post, he had a lot of valid points. the cues being quicker, and really it just basically being a duel in a controlled environment, and, you know, like all the things that he said, I was like, I guess there isn't really a bad thing about it, except for me it's scary because I'm destruction, so I feel like I need to have a friend. But it might make me a better player if I solo, right? Like, it might make me... I don't duel because... Why don't I duel, Rem?
Because you don't like to lose.
But that's not really the reason. Well, that is the reason, but dueling makes me very angry when I don't win. And I like my friends, so I don't... Especially my friends, I don't duel my friends. If I don't like you, I'll duel you. 100% I'll duel you. But I don't duel my friends because then I'm not going to be friends with them anymore because I'm going to be bitter. But the dev basically said, you know, we have an unannounced feature that may just be up your alley.
Whoa.
I thought that there was something that was mentioned today, unless I missed it. I mean, I rewatched the Q&A twice, so I don't know if I missed it.
What was that question in regards to? The war mode?
What question?
Something up your alley.
No, it was in regards to solo queue PvP.
Oh.
It was in regards to solo queue. He said 1v1. So I think the assumption from the internet is that there is going to be a solo queue situation. Food for thought for sure. Did they wait? They removed Strand of the Ancients? Hold on. We have to stop the show for a second. Hold, please. You're lying! Are you serious? Is this real or am I getting punked?
It's a blue post from a rim. B. Strand of the Ancients has been removed in battle for Azeroth.
How did I miss this? Because it just happened. Did it just happen?
Like an hour ago, yeah. Well, I'm upset.
I'm not. And here's the thing. I don't care that they removed the blacklist now. I give two shits, because really, that was the only reason. I'm sorry, Rem. I mean, I'm not. I'm not really sorry at all. You got your Void Elves, so just be happy with that. And...
yeah, but you wanted this. I didn't even... Because because Strand of the Ancients is blacklisted by the majority of the people. No one's going to blacklist Silver Shard Mines. It's easy peasy. They should have fucking... Or excuse my language. They should have removed...
The worst part about Strand of the Ancients, in my opinion, is having to run back and jump into a vehicle, which reduces your character to 2 abilities. Oh, he wasn't complaining about the run. He was just complaining about Strand of the Ancients in general. Guys, I had to stop the show for that. Angie, this is the reason we're friends, man, because she just made my lifetime. So all the shit I talked earlier about the blacklisting thing, Blizzard, if you're listening, I apologize, because apparently you knew exactly how I was feeling. Clearly, because you removed it. But this does, I just want to point out, Rem.
This proves your point.
It's not about proving my point, but it does prove that at least, like, it was a problem for a lot of people. So that does make me feel better to know, you know, that it was a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, IQ issue, I guess.
You're such a dick. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about...
That's actually pretty big. That's, wow.
What?
The fact that they're removing a battleground.
They're probably removing it for Battle for Azeroth because they're probably going to rework it. Because he didn't say indefinitely, he just said for Battle for Azeroth.
That's valid.
And maybe reworking it is what they need. Maybe it was a little bit complicated for randos. No offense.
Destroy the gate, get to the relic.
Do you know how many people don't understand that concept? Do you know how many people fight?
Oh, no, I've seen...
They fight on the fucking beach when there's no...
Oh, no, I'm aware of that. Like, you have half the group of blue, half the group of green, and nothing's happening. I know.
And you're like, hi, can you please... And then you have people that go to the wrong gate. So they're using their bombs, and they're using all of that on the wrong gate when everybody else is over here at the other gate. And it's like, hey, thanks for helping because you didn't really actually help. Yeah, it's... Oh, that makes me so happy. I'm stoked. I'm happy about that, Rem. Are you
I'm
gonna
happy
be okay?
for you. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm gonna live without it. I'm like the least pickiest gamer ever.
You? Hey, by the by, the necklace is an artifact. And it's not called Azurite power. The items that we collect, the Azurite that we collect, is called Azurite. It is not called Azurite power. It's artifact power because that's what our weapon is. It's an artifact and it's empowered, so it's artifact power.
They had it right the first time.
It's still called Azurite. We still pick up Azurite. But the power on our weapon is not Azurite power. It is, you know.
That's gonna be their new freaking word, artifacts. Artifact this, artifact that.
I have something for you, Rem, but are you watching stream?
Yeah,
Okay, can you hear stream?
I have it up.
Expeditions give other than Azurite power?
So the primary reward for Island Expeditions is going to be artifact power. And yes, artifact power, not Azurite power. Your Heart of Azeroth is an artifact. You level it up with artifact power. We figured, why reinvent the wheel? I think we were originally kicking around ideas like Azurite power. We figured you're all going to call it just AP anyway. So why
beat around the bush?
Exactly. Why if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know that it's not Azurite power.
Thank you for that.
So the backstory is earlier when me and Rem were talking, because Rem is working today, so I was kind of like giving him the get down on the important stuff from the QA. Like Rem was like, "That's fucking stupid," and I was like, "It makes sense though. The way he said it, like it makes sense because it's an artifact. Our necklace, our medallion, it's an artifact. It's an artifact." So he. Guys, I love torturing Rem because it's very few times that I have any kind of ammo to be able to do that. But I wanted him to, you know. Whatever. So every time he says something, I'm just going to play that back for him because I feel like that's important. Don't you, Rem?
Totally. I completely agree with you. See? Taking that ammo away. Fuck you.
Wow. Hey, let's do some lore before we talk about the pets and mounts coming in at Battle for Azeroth from a dungeon side. I got visual aids today, guys. Visual aids.
We got the aids. Copy.
We do. I've been doing most of the talking because the news items, so it's time for us to swap.
Okay. Are you ready? Or...
What are we talking about? I thought I saw something about...
We were talking about Molten Core.
Ooh.
Core!
The place I love to get lost in.
Which raid or dungeon is that?
Anything in that whole side of the world that's dungeon or raid related, I get lost in. I promise.
Okay, so we learned a little bit about Molten Core. Most of the stuff is still pretty much the same. It just solidified it. But what I found interesting is I was always under the impression that the Hydraxian Water Lords, one of the members of Water Elementals, was the main reason why we went to Molten Core to take on Ragnaros, because they are mortal enemies, and Ragnaros was building in power, and he was a known minion or collaborator with the old gods. And so obviously we want to kick his butts and make sure that him and his little army can't mess with us. But the plot thickens. The main contributor to us going to Molten Core was actually Moria Theresen, aka Princess Moria Bronzebeard, and it all started in Blackrock Depths when Dagran Theresen wanted to retaliate against the other clans and abducted her.
Who's Prentice in relation to Magni?
Huh?
Who's Prentice in relation to Magni?
Prentice.
Is that who you said? Who did you say?
No, Princess Moria
Oh,
Bronzer.
Princess. I thought you said
She
Prentice.
is the daughter of Magni and the niece of Mirrodin.
Huh.
And so Dagran abducted her, took her to his lair in the Blackrock Depths, and I don't know if maybe there's some Stockholm syndrome going on in that relationship or whatever, but they ended up falling in love. They got married, in not only in secret, but down in the Dark Iron lair. I'm just gonna call it the lair.
So was it a shotgun wedding? Was she pregnant? Like, give me the scoop.
Actually, yes. So
See, whenever there's a rush to the altar, there's a bun in the oven, my dudes.
So they got married, and Magni was infuriated and didn't believe that she could fall in love with this enemy of the clan. It sounds really weird. And so he sends us an alliance task force to go take her back, and we end up killing Dagran and all of his minions. And then she is upset because she is with child and she loved him, Stockholm syndrome, whatever you want to call it in that regard. And what we didn't know is Dagran actually had an idea to free the Dark Irons from being enslaved by Ragnaros, because in history they were they worshipped him, and eventually they just become his
minions
and slaves and all
but
that.
Is that because they were loyal to him, or was there some kind of power that he had?
So like Dagran's father before him was loyal to Ragnaros, but it's more of a we pay you tribute so you don't kill me kind of thing. And so he wanted to break free of that. And Moria was on that same brainwave because she's freaking nuts. And so after we kill Dagran and take her back, she's mad. She pretty much stays and starts leading the Dark Iron clans because, one, she's technically by blood because she was the marriage went through with Dagran. And so she had that going for her, but she won the loyalty of the Dark Irons because she was, again, she had that same mentality of freeing them from Ragnaros, so they were all on board. Unfortunately, she was pretty good at being manipulative, and
well, most females are. I mean, myself included. I work miracles every day on the husband, so I mean,
that's pretty valid.
I own that shit.
But so there was riches and plunder abundance in Blackrock Depths and in Molten Core already, but she pretty much made this facade to make us go there. And before we were able to actually launch anything, the Hydroxan Waterlords learned of this, and they're on board because, once again, they are mortal enemies of the Fire Elementals and with the Ragnaros. And so they offered aid and riches to anyone that was willing to stand up to Ragnaros. And so at the end of the day, the real reason why we even went to Molten Core was because of Moria. And that brings me to a side point. Did she succeed in her little plots? I would say so, because look where she is now. She's one of the three hammers ruling in Ironforge. The Dark Iron clan is the strongest it's ever been. They are going to be a pivotal character in Battle for Azeroth. Yeah. So they're free.
Where, in a quest perspective, like from a quest standpoint, where would I have seen her?
The quest where you have to go. Well, before they overhauled Blackrock Depths, where now it's just some random priestess, you would have to kill Dagran, and you would actually. I think it was like a.
Did we need to get attuned? Did I?
No.
No. What am I thinking?
No,
I'm thinking of Blackrock Depths, huh?
Oh yeah, no. With Molten Core, before you had to get attuned, but whatchamacallit, with the quest that you're asking, you would have to save Moria from Dagran. Like, you would have to kill him before you killed her. I think there was like an achievement or like just some bonus thing to do that.
I don't remember. I'm gonna look that up.
But in terms of Blackrock Depths, that is, the score goes to Alliance on that one, because it was directly influenced by Magni sending us in there to get his daughter and all that good stuff. But with Molten Core, because Moria had this great manipulated facade of riches and stuff, and Hydraxian warlords pretty much were all mercenaries for them at that point. So the Horde and the Alliance went into Molten Core and defeated Ragnaros. So yeah, good things. But Moria she's a shifty little witch. And that's...
Oh, that was it? I
Yeah.
thought I had at least 5 more minutes. I had to tweet my excitement, and I was trying to find if I could see that that quest. I'm going to have to go back and reference because I don't remember. The thing about the dwarves is I didn't pay a lot of attention to them in general. It wasn't my favorite.
In what regard? Like all of it?
I just didn't like any of it.
Well, this
I mean,
one
I
really-
love Ironforge now, but in the beginning of my Warcraft
Well, this wasn't
life,
really dwarf specific. It was more of just a quest you get when you go into the dungeon.
Well, and remember, so in those days, Belle was super teeny tiny, and I was hitting shit with sticks and didn't know a whole lot, or probably didn't
This was
absorb.
before Cataclysm, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's-
I probably didn't absorb like a lot of that stuff. I really honestly didn't even start paying attention to the story until a little bit before Kata, and then well,
then you really delved in and
Wrath,
missed.
of course, you know, but yeah, Kata, I took that 6-month break, but I didn't really start getting like invested in paying attention to that kind of stuff. I think I remember really random things like the locket in the river that you have to get in.
What about the Lady of the Lake?
I feel like that's a hoe joke, is it?
No, in Grizzly Hills. Yeah, Grizzly Hills, or yeah, there is a lake with a little frozen. She looks like a one of the dryads, but she's like a frozen nymph kind of version.
I know
And
the
you get
waterlog
a
ride.
word. Yeah, broken tree and all that. But I'm surprised you didn't notice that one because it's King Arthur and Excalibur.
Well, and I'm obsessed with Grizzly Hills and Storm Peaks. I often go back there to write on the waterlog for no reason and to go visit the Flurblogs in the dead tree.
The what?
You know, the little, I call them
Furbolgs.
the, what are they?
You said
Furbolgs?
Furblogs.
I don't know. Furblogs makes more sense than Furbolgs. So, man, I am so excited about this Strand of the Ancient situation. I just can't believe my luck in life. Now, I can tell you that this is a step in the right direction towards getting me excited about PvP stuff.
By the way, I lied. It was Helling Fjord, but it was the one. See, same.
The Dwarven starting quest line. And you know what? I actually don't have a dwarf. So if we see her, I probably should create a dwarf so that I could see that quest line.
Wait, which quest line?
Lassie's saying the current Dwarven starting quest line. Don't we uncover her betrayal? I haven't. The dwarf is the one race that I don't like. So visually.
Talking about, no, there was an ambassador that was supposed to be loyal to her. That was betrayal, some form of betrayal, but wasn't her.
Ambassadors are no.
She hasn't betrayed anyone but her father. So, because she had babies with the enemy. So, well, baby.
I'm looking up this Maiden of the Winter. Oh, I don't know that I ever even paid attention to that, to be honest. I'm going to have to go check that out afterwards, for sure. I definitely need to go check that out.
Excalibur, bro.
Man, that's crazy. So, let's do some more of the Q&A talk. So, there's a couple points. Honestly, guys, you know better than anybody else. These Q&As don't really provide a lot of information. A lot of it is not really answering direct questions unless they're ready to answer it. And, you know, saying things are working as they are, as intended. So, there isn't a whole lot. He did go into a lot of detail. I don't know if anybody watched it. He went and he was like, more forthcoming and detailed on their thought process behind things that they were doing than I've ever heard. He did talk about the global cooldown situation. Now, since last week's episode, with me being super new, because remember, last week was our very first show, I have understood the global cooldown situation on multiple levels from different perspectives, both low, high, PvE, and PvP. Now, I have to agree.
So did you understand his explanation better then?
What?
Did you understand his explanation better then?
No, his explanation makes sense to me. I read some things that very big PvPers have posted and did videos on their reactions. I've talked to a couple of my my method boys who are PvPers to get their perspective. I'm actually hoping to bring one of them on the show in a week or two. I'm just waiting for him to confirm so that we can kind of hammer out that. But the large of it is, and from what I've been told in my research, I need to go test it, obviously. But I'm told that it's only a good thing for Clothies in the most part as far as survivability is concerned. So, and that's really from a PvP standpoint. I don't know what that looks like from PvE, but I do know, well, I don't know what it looks like because I haven't tested, but, you know, he just talked about how they want to, you know, they want to just pace things out to where you have to make a decision. You have to pick between this or that versus doing all of it at once, and then you have nothing the rest of the fight.
So no more Swifty macro get though.
Right, but they're fixing things. There's some changes that they made to warriors that they reverted. I'm sure, guys, we could, you know, make sure that they're on the right track here. But when it got explained to me by a PvPer from a PvP standpoint that this is only a good thing for Clothies as far as me being able to survive because maybe I won't die in a fucking quadruple stun that apparently never DRs. But a large part of that had confirmed pretty much what I had thought, and then I think it was mentioned in chat also regarding pacing. He did say that from their side, World of Warcraft isn't an arcade game, right? There should be things that are fast-paced and all that, but the nature of World of Warcraft...
No spamming low kicks.
Yeah, like he just said, like, for World of Warcraft, it isn't, you know, an arcade, it isn't an Overwatch pace type of game. It's strategy and decisions. And when he explained, you know, let's say you have 3 really, really super powerful things. Normally you would be able to go 1, 2, 3, boom, target's dead. Now you'll have to go, okay, well, I can use 1 now, then 3, then 2, whatever. Now you actually have to have some strategy and make some decisions, which to me, correct me if I'm wrong, or if this is the wrong thought process, to me that feels like more actually playing and less face rolling your rotation, or, you know, you actually have to make a quick decision that could mean, you know, you downed the boss in a certain amount of time, or you downed before, you know, a phase or whatever, because you used your rotation efficiently, because you had to make choices because of the global cooldowns. I don't know if that's the right approach, but I feel like in the research that I've done this week that I kind of grasp the concept of why they're doing what they're doing and how that kind of affects from both sides. So Rem, hit me with some.
Well, I think it's less killing the boss, more so utility and survivability. Like the instances, the examples that he used was like, you're standing in the fire. Are you going to cast this spell and then use it and then be on the global cooldown and then be able to leave the fire? Or like, for instance, in Mythic rating or in high-end rating, if you have to waste a global cooldown on a dispel rather than heal the tank or someone that's about to die, you're going to use the heal, wait for that, and then dispel, because depending on the type of mechanic for the dispel, you're going to lose a tank.
Which other people need to make sure that they're aware, especially if the whatever they have to dispel is avoidable, right? Because oftentimes, because we have, like, especially priests, like if we have the ability to just dispel all the time, we might not mind mechanics. We might just do shit that we're not supposed to because we have that cushion. I feel like I understand it enough to be able to test to know how it feels, which I think some of the stuff I saw in the forums was about some rotations feeling a little bit clunky, and that might happen while they're trying to work it out. I remember in the beginning of Legion, I thought Rem was going to hang himself because the Shadow Priest was struggling with it just being really fluid. I think it was just very unorganized in...
And again, that was remedied by the artifact stuff, that when you leveled it up and all the additional stuff they added, it made it a little more fluid instead of clunky, where it's like you throw the dots, spamming this, spam.
I think Angie's onto something about the overcompensated by taking a bunch of stuff. He said several times that it sucks to have to take away stuff from players that they're used to, but sometimes you have to, because it's the only way you can fix, things that developmentally, things that, mistakes that you've made. So I do agree. I think that their nature, Blizzard has no chill. They're either all the way here or they're all the way here. Blizzard never has a middle ground, and I don't know that they ever will, and I love that about them because I'm extreme myself. I'm either super in a great mood or I want to rip your face off. So to me, I dig that vibe. It's probably not a healthy business model, but I think it is good to rip the Band-Aid off, take everything, and then give it back little by little. Then people are grateful. Because if you take everything, people are angry, but as you give it back, it makes people more grateful, because 5 minutes ago they didn't have anything that's actually parenting 101 when you think about it. But
no, that's like lazy marketing. That's fucking focused.
As a Clothy, I understand from the mindset of I am never going to be what I think I am in my mind as a Clothy in PvP. I already know that going into any scenario. I'm never going to be so overpowered that it doesn't matter that I'm a Clothy when it comes to some of these melee classes that I die in a quadruple stun to. That's happened. And I literally am like, where's the DR? I have no time to react. There's not even a second. Now, that's the nature of PvP, so it's not a complaint, guys. I don't want anybody being like, oh, God, this girl over here thinks that she should have a second to think. No, I don't think that I should have a second. I do like some of the fast-paced, sometimes the fast-paced is really fun. But I feel like it would also be super nice in an arena that I could just have a quick second to have better use of what I'm doing. As a player who's not a top tier PvPer, those kind of things are really inherent to them, right? They don't really have to think about what to do, what to counter. That just comes to them. I'm not that. I'm not Sea-Doo. I'm not, I'm not any of those things. So I need just a second. And if it's not fun for me, meaning if I'm just getting bursted down without having the ability to take a quick second to say, okay, instead of this, I'm going to do this. If Ian's saying that the purpose for this is to pace the fights, not to where it's like a 40-minute fight, but at least pace it to where you have a couple, milliseconds or seconds in between to just kind of make that decision, because they also have to make a decision, I'm good with that. I don't want to nerf melee in their damage, because I think that there should be a difference. I think that it should be tough for a Clothy to go up against melee 1v1. I think that that should be hard, because melee's melee. They should be able to just shred through you. But I do think that there's abilities that Clothies have that, casters have that can potentially be deadlier if they're used in the appropriate manner. So if global cooldowns and them tweaking and reworking them in a way that makes sense, I'm for it, cautiously optimistic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do I feel, am I making, because last week I really blew it because I didn't understand the weight of it, because we don't have a lot of them. So I needed to do research, and I needed to see it from a couple different sides. Now the next phase in this global cooldown situation is for us to go in and test and see what that looks like. What does this look like from a PvP standpoint? I have not PvP'd at all in alpha because they were not ready, and I didn't want to do something and then be pissed off. So I thought I'll wait till the PvP updates start rolling out, which that's exactly what's happening. Now they're getting into that phase of, now it's time to bring the PvPers in to get them to do some testing to see how this looks. So I'll probably spend the bulk of my time versus questing, going in and seeing what, you know, what this looks like. But it's going to really be okay.
So, I don't know if you've mentioned it yet, but I just saw something that I think is the best thing I've ever seen in the Q&A.
What?
Specifically about the Heart of Azeroth.
What do you mean? What is it? Which? Because there's many.
So, the fact that it's going to be a universal neck.
You mean from alts?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's universal to a certain degree, right? You're still going to have to put...
I mean, you still have to get the items, like the helms, the shoulders.
Yeah, you're going to have to do it for that character, but the time put in. Yeah, I heard, he spoke about that in the Q&A, but I think I might have tuned him out when he said... That's
huge. That's like the biggest gripe, is having to farm all this artifact power into this one weapon. Whereas now it'd be like all your artifact weapons, all the specs, it starts at that same thing, that same level, but you'd have to like obtain like a shoulder piece where you could actually apply the... So it'd be like how it is pretty much now, where you put like one token in there, and it levels all the way up.
Yeah.
And then the Netherlight Crucible would be the other items.
Chronix, thanks for the follow, my dude. I think they learned a lot of lessons, and it's funny because Ian said that like 20 times in this Q&A today. This Q&A felt very different to me than all the other Q&As I've ever felt. I kind of got the feeling, and I want to know if anybody agrees with me, I kind of got the feeling that Ian did a lot of disclosure that he doesn't normally do. He'll give a little bit of information, but I mean, he did a lot of more explanation than I've ever heard. Now, a lot of people joked and was like, but he didn't answer the question. But he gave me information, which sometimes that's better than answering the question. Because if I know where your thought process is, I can know either what I need to do to convince you into a different thought process, or I can listen and say, okay, maybe I need to reapproach the way that I'm looking at it. Because as gamers... Not even as gamers, guys. As World of Warcraft players, we're very set in our ways. Change is scary for any of us. Like, I fucking hate change. But I'm excited about the change at the same time. I feel like the shift has been great. And I want to know if anybody else agrees. The shift has been great, meaning it used to be you had your different dev for your different things, being the person that gave
like
the
information. Design.
You had your quest designer. You had Holinka would do these things for PvP. Like, you had your different people. Ever since Ian took over and took more of a forward-facing role, it's almost like he's fixing maybe things in the internal parts that were broken. And I'm not going to say that there were things that were broken, but I feel like maybe there was a disconnect. Having people be in charge of each piece, yeah, that's great. However, logically, there's going to be a disconnect between each part if you have the master of each one. Maybe the head... Who was before Ian? Was it Chilton? No. Was it?
Ghostcrawler, right?
Yeah. No. He was before. Before. I feel like. I don't even remember. We've been...
I thought you meant like the person that's always...
No. The person that ran the team. I thought it was Chilton. Was it not?
Yeah, it was Chilton.
Yeah. So...
Because he went to that undisclosed one.
Right. I think maybe internally there might have been some things with the team that maybe they needed to fix that caused the huge disconnect. They spoke about the raids and all the soaking mechanics this expansion. And he said, very honestly, look, one team didn't tell the other team. Each raid is its own team. One team didn't tell the other team that, hey, we have X amount of soak mechanics. This team didn't say, hey, we have X amount of soak mechanics. This was, this was our bad because we didn't communicate.
But at the same time, all those things are being funneled up. It should have been like, oh, hey, a lot of these mechanics are very similar.
He was very new then too. So I feel like he's probably spent a better part of the later part of this expansion when there was less content coming out because they were winding down. I feel like that he might have improved a lot of processes that were broken that we didn't know. Ashran's leaving. That was Holinka's baby. He was so fucking proud of Ashran. Big changes. For them to remove a battleground, that's a pretty big deal. Like, they flat out were like, fuck you, Strand of the Ancients, and fuck your couch. Like, we're booting you right out of our battleground queue.
It's actually good. It shows that they want to clean house and just.
I
make sure
feel
it's
like
good.
that's exactly what's happening internally. And even though we're going to feel a little bit of the brunt of that, because there might have been things that while we really loved, maybe they're not practical, or maybe there's things that we didn't know they held a longer wait for. The legendary system, for example. Great, we all get legendaries. They're no longer legendary. They lost their value. It's basically like toilet paper to me. Like they didn't mean anything to me, yet I
don't
needed
know.
them.
Toilet paper's pretty expensive.
But we needed them. I do agree with that also. I do agree that he probably felt he needed to defend himself. And the thing he's going to have to learn, really, there is no defense, because somebody is always going to be angry at the shit you do. You just have to be okay with knowing that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and you got to do, whatever that you got to do. But I do feel...
And I happen to be in the few this time. It's that day.
I feel that there's... I have a lot of faith, if I'm going to be 100% honest. Like, there's a lot of things I dislike. I'm a gamer. That's my job. I'm not supposed to be happy all the time. I'm supposed to rant and bitch. Conquest. Let's talk about that before we move on. So,
Oh boy.
predictive gearing is what they're calling it, is coming in Battle for Azeroth. There's going to be conquest progression. So we, as a community, including myself, I actually had a very lengthy back and forth on a post with a lot of the big PvPers. It was a post by Venruki. I was super involved because I loved everything that was said about that. We wanted our gear vendor back. I wanted a means of realization. Like, I wanted to be able to log in every week and know that I needed to cap out on my conquest. And I missed a lot of those feelings. Well, they gave us conquest back. But did they?
No, they did. You just don't like the way they implemented it back.
Here's the thing. He completely fucking complicated an already perfect system that they broke by removing it. So instead of just bringing the system back and making it slightly better, you have conquest progression. Every week you get a different piece for your set. That's fantastic. I get a different RNG piece. At some point I know I'll have all of them, which is his defense when players were like, what the fuck? What do you mean? We don't get to pick the piece? Okay, cool. So at the end I know that no matter what, I'm going to have this gear that we're going to talk about in a second, where he made a statement earlier where he said we don't want there to be a power gap between players that do a lot and players that don't. I have a big problem with that whole entire fucking statement, but we'll talk about that in a second. So PvP season, week 1, you get, X piece. Week 2, you get another piece. Okay. I'm hoping the silence means, like...
That you agree with it? Me too.
No. Here's the thing. I can't really have an opinion until I test it, because I feel like I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. You mean to tell me that you took a perfect system and you decided you were going to change it to keep your other bullshit system that isn't working now?
I don't know if it was perfect, but...
It was pretty perfect. It was pretty perfect for a pretty long time. They came in and fixed something that wasn't broken. So then later on in this Q&A, he talks about how the mistake that was made with the templates, right? And I think a lot of us probably agree. We all thought that the templates were going to be great in the beginning because it was like, oh yeah, it's not going to affect PvE. This is great. Then we realized the weight of that. He said very honestly, we made it where gear didn't matter in PvP. Thanks for admitting that, though, even though you tried to pretend this entire expansion that it did. He then said that they don't want there to be a power gap between players who put forth the effort and Joe Schmo who comes in and decides he wants to learn to do the thing. There shouldn't be a power gap. I don't know about you guys, but I'm probably sure that you could figure that internally I really want to smash my computer monitor, because the fact that that even came out of his mouth is probably the only time I've ever been very angry. In fact, I ranted pre-show, like a pretty big rant.
Yeah.
I don't know what this current state of WoW playerdom, our new generation of WoW players, I don't know what it is that is the, it's an entitlement that you're entitled to the same level of play that I'm entitled to because I put in the effort and you don't, or vice versa. Maybe you put in the effort in something and I don't. That doesn't make me entitled to your same level of play. There should be a power gap. There should be. A PvPer that is Gladiator should fucking murk me in 1 second. But a brand new DK who has 0 PvP gear should not be able to kill me. And if they do, they should work pretty hard at it.
I think, okay, so that kind of power that power gap, I don't believe in. It shouldn't be that extreme. Now, there should be a power gap. I'm not like, I go in and this guy kills me in like 1 shot. Like, there needs to be some leniency a little bit.
I agree. I don't want there to be this big, you know, this ginormous thing where you see so-and-so and you know that they're X amount geared, so you run the other direction because you know you're about to get killed. I think that there should be a power gap. I don't know what that looks like in definition, but I know that it's true for PvE. I should not do as much damage as somebody who's mythic geared. If let's say me and Sko were in a mythic dungeon because for some reason he decided he wanted to play with the scrub, right? He does. He plays with he plays with all kinds of people, but I shouldn't be on the same level as him because Blizzard is afraid of a power gap because their statement this whole year is, well, it's unfair for people who don't have the time.
It's hard to compare those though, because if I walk in and there is a power gap between me and a rogue, but I know how to kill a rogue by effectively CCing him and dispelling anything, and I can kill him, that's a little bit different. If I'm going into a mythic or a raid with less gear and I'm out DPSing someone that has more gear than me, either A, I'm doing a better rotation, or B, he is AFK. I don't know. But
or maybe he just doesn't understand his class.
Yeah, that one makes more sense. But a power gap is a little bit, it's more of
a stepping stone, depending on the level of difficulty.
Yeah, with PvE, oh yeah, there should be a giant power gap because enchants, mythic gear, all that matters. Whereas
in PvP, there should be as well. There should be no difference, and I'm going to tell you why.
No, there should be a power gap of skill plus the gear. So I mean, it shouldn't be extreme.
The problem is forever, since the beginning of time, and this is not the first time that I've had this issue, we keep acting as if PvP is the redheaded stepchild. I apologize to all my gingers out there, but we keep acting like we're totally okay with all these power things for PvEers who are mythic and who are fucking key 22 plus fucking whatever that I don't even know what they're up to. I think they're up to like plus 30.
There's been some 27s, 28s.
There shouldn't be a difference between the two as far as what the rules are. If somebody works hard like the mythic raiders do, they get all the good things of being that, right?
Yeah, that's what they used to have with the season.
We welcome that. We push for that. We even watch the world first race waiting to see. We push for the difference between the high end and the low end. We do it every single expansion. However, the second we start to do it for PvP, everybody fucking loses their mind because it's unfair. Here's the thing. If a mythic raider who sometimes these guys don't sleep, I got to see a different side of the mythic race because I was privy to the inside with Method. These guys sacrifice like a lot, okay? They sacrifice going to the fucking bathroom.
But what have you given?
And we reward them and we are okay with that. And Blizzard rewards them and we're okay with that. And we don't try to nerf their shit. But the second we try to make the same designation in PvP, it's not fair because I don't have enough time to play. I should get the same as everybody else. Here's the thing. That's the problem, is it shouldn't be different because it's just two opposite sides of the coin. The effort level that you're putting in is exactly the same. These gladiators that do back to back to back to back to back is the same level of effort that's being put in for these mythic runs. Why do we keep making a different designation? Why do we keep allowing, okay, so we want Tom, Dick, and Harry to be able to join in PvP relatively easily with very little effort because we don't want to scare Tom, Dick, and Harry away.
Sounds weird.
But what about Joe, Bob, and Jane? Joe, Bob, and Jane have been doing this for a really long time, and this is the one element of World of Warcraft that Joe, Bob, and Jane look forward to every expansion. But we're going to tell Joe, Bob, and Jane that there shouldn't be a difference in the level of effort that they put in, but there's a difference in PvE. We're going to make that difference because PvP is the lighter part of World of Warcraft. I saw that somebody said that a while back, and I was like, that's weird. So my question is, I got myself all riled up. My face is a little red. I'm kind of sweating. I've been really frustrated because anytime I try to speak how I feel, I get a ton of messages, or I get people that are like, oh, you're just a girl. What do you even know? And oh, you don't know anything. Here's the thing. I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. And I don't have to be right or wrong to see the things that are broken and the way that it's being approached. So I'm going to leave you guys with this note. I think I made my point about the level of effort for both things and how we're okay with it for PvE.
I don't think you got your point across.
So, here's the thing. I respect people that don't have time to game. Here's how much I respect people that don't have time to game. I'm one of them. I got 2 hours in this week in World of Warcraft because I have children. I have method work. I have a full-time job. And real life, guys, I have dogs that are nuts. My cats are assholes. Like, I have a life. I'm not complaining that I have to work hard in PvP to be able to get gear that matters, because otherwise, what's the point? What's the point if there isn't a power gap? And there doesn't have to be a mile-long gap. I'll take a foot or two. But there should be a difference, and it should be a visible difference, and it should be felt. I should be able to feel it. A brand new DK to PvP should not be able to very easily take me out with a few very well-placed CCs and boom, game over. Not if I've been putting in the effort and doing the work. It doesn't make sense to me. So, while I do appreciate and respect those that don't have time to game, here's the thing. Just like me, if you don't have time to game, then you don't get to play at that level. It's not Blizzard's fault. It's not my fault. It's not Wakanda's fault. It is what it is. If you don't have the time to do those things, then you do them casually, just like we do. I don't have time to do a lot right now, so I don't. Period. That's it. End of story. It's the same thing with raiding. If you don't have time to be on a team because it doesn't work with your schedule, you're not entitled to that fucking gear because you don't have time to do it. Your $15 a month doesn't entitle you to be able to have the best of the best if you don't put in the effort. That's really what the bottom line is. And I don't know if anybody else agrees with me. I might be the only one, guys. And if that's the case, I'll take it.
What was that first part again?
What? No.
Okay, so what would you think about they have the RNG or a way of buying the gear at like the basic bitch like honor gear that it used to be.
Yeah, the stuff that you had to buy first, right? Because you knew you were going to die without it, right?
So with this new conquest system, all it's doing is giving you that gear sooner, so it's not useful at all. What if they made the system with the conquest where you still aim for that one piece of gear and that rotation during that week, but it's the better gear? Like it would be like heroic to mythic or something.
Yes, and that's why I said, because I haven't tested it and we don't know what the difference is. Like, they can tell me, okay, this item level and this item level, but how does it feel, right? It's like when you buy a new pair of Ruse. You know, you buy a new pair of Ruse and you get home and you're super excited.
That's why you just buy like Hanes.
But even Hanes, like, maybe you switched a different style or whatever, and you're super excited to get home because the look of it is amazing, right? And it's been built up the whole time you were in the store. I've done this, obviously. You get home and you slide these roos on, and you're like, wow, this feels like fucking sandpaper. This is not great. But you really thought it was great. But it's one of those things, it's like underwear. You have to try it on to know if it's going to be good. Now, you're a dude. I don't know if boys if they feel that way about underwear,
I mean,
but
if you're
like
getting boxer briefs, I could see the chafing or the sandpaper.
yeah, like stuff's, it.
Just go with cotton, guys. Okay.
Cotton is not
Good.
always the best comfortable, though, depending on the type of cotton. But it's that same thing. So it looks like it has potential, right?
Well, just the way that he worded it has me worried because he does say, for example, in 1 week you could get that helm, but all he says is it's possible to get it earlier through random awards. So the way he's wording it, it's the same exact gear, and that's
Right.
a problem I agree with.
I want
But you shouldn't have to farm mythics to get gear for PvP, like
Right.
Zaryu was talking
right,
about. Before.
and I should be different than a PvEer.
I'm
I should not be able to easily raid in my PvP gear because in Mists of Pandaria, my raid leader would have laughed their ass off if I showed up in all of my conquest gear.
What, you got kicked from pugs if you did
I
that?
did.
You wouldn't get kicked.
I
you
did
get kicked
personally,
from
yes.
RBGs, so
So there has to be a difference but the same. There's difference for obvious reasons, but it has to be held to the same standard. And the problem is they keep acting like
What would
PvP is
you-
just not, it's like a side afterthought. And for a lot of people, especially me, guys, it's hard for me to join a battleground because I am just unhappy with,
would you say PvP is kind of soggy?
I would say it's a little,
What would you think if they brought back something like PvP power or the resilience?
I do think that they lost a lot when they got rid of that. I think that they lost what makes it unique to PvPers. I miss the PvP gems that you could socket because it made more sense in a PvP scenario. Like for PvE and raids, Bell would have this was back before the big changes. Bell would be all mastery, right? Stack mastery, mastery, mastery. In PvP, I would stack haste, right? So I would have my haste gems, like that would be my setup because I need my haste in PvP. I miss those designators. I missed that there was a difference between the two and they could live in harmony. You could easily have your second set for your PvE, have it enchanted and gemmed according to what you needed and just swapped it at the ready. I'm fine with having 2 sets of gear. In fact, it makes me sad that I don't have 2 sets of gear.
I
Because
feel weird without having 2 sets, honestly, still.
I vendor every single PvP piece that I get. I vendor every single one. I don't keep it at all because it's useless. It's taking up bag space. So, moral of the story here, the
Okay.
yeah, let me give you the summary.
No glass ceilings.
I don't know what it looks like. I know the things that he said in regards to power gaps and stuff really made me rage because I feel like he's missing the point. Clearly, he's not a PvPer because if he was a PvPer, he never would have said that. Because the whole purpose of a PvPer's like inner dragon or your inner demon is for power. We're not doing this out of the kindness of our hearts. Like, we like to kill other players. Clearly, we're not right in the brain as it is. Like,
yeah.
but it's painfully obvious that he isn't a PvPer because if he was, he never would have said that. Because that's what we do. Like, power is what we want because we want to be powerful. So we'll see how it looks.
Dear Royal Hampton.
We're gonna have to test it and see how it feels. Just need to see if it's the good underwear or the bad underwear. But in any regard, I'm not gonna be quiet if it's the bad underwear. I gotta be really honest about that. I'm not.
I mean, I don't know who would be if they had bad underwear.
Yeah. So, we'll see, guys. We'll see. I plan on doing testing since they've now added some things to the PvP scene. Now it's time for me to go in there and test and see how things feel from a battleground side, from a caster side, from a fight side.
World PvP side.
And really
I'm so excited about that.
what are they calling it?
War mode.
War mode. So I need to go in there and test those things because it's really easy for me to get on my soapbox and QQ about better days and at risk of sounding like the vanilla players, like, it's really easy for me to be that, but you really need to make sure that you test it. So now I've stated my opinion. We'll see if Blizzard can make a believer out of me, really, is the thing. Now, yes, if it's not broke, he's going to make me cough.
Well, he mentions quite a bit, too. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, but it seems like he's trying to.
They really did.
Yeah.
They made a perfectly round wheel from Mists of Pandaria, and they made it fucking rectangle. And I don't understand. This is probably the reason the dinosaurs died, because of things like this. But
I don't know. There's dinosaurs in Zandalar at the moment.
to be fair, he wasn't in charge then, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what Wicked This Way comes. So now let's move on to some happy things, because I was really emotional, dangerously close to maybe shedding a tear, but that's just because I'm a girl.
Wait, what?
Think the so one last thing, and
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, Taliesin. He's swole Linka. Like, damn, dude.
so listen. Okay, somebody asked, are DKs going to be an allied race? Now, originally, I laughed hysterically because I was like, why? Like, it's like, you know, when you give a kid a cookie, then they want another cookie, and then another cookie, and another cookie. It's like it's never enough, right? So we haven't even been able to really focus on the allied races we have now, and people are so fucking far into 2 expansions from now and allied races. Guys,
I think they're just asking about the heritage armor.
That wasn't the only question that I seen in the Twitter feed for fucking allied races. Is this going to be an allied race? Is this going to be an allied race? Is this going to be an allied race? These are just questions that didn't actually make it into the QA. Okay, the heritage armor, cool. That makes sense. I think we should all have a set of heritage armor. I'm pretty sure we do, though. Like, I have a human set that makes me look superhuman. I don't really fucking know.
No.
I don't know, but I feel like
class set or
I feel like that,
mage
you know, it makes sense for us to have heritage armor, and I get that, and it makes sense. And maybe if you already have a maxed out, you know, what we'll call the original races, right? Maybe that means you do a lengthy quest line and you unlock it, whatever that looks like. But he's like, are DKs ever going to be an allied race? What? They're already a race. Why would you... I don't understand why we would waste development hours on that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would we waste development hours on that? Why would we waste Demon Hunter development hours on that? To me, I think it's a good idea for each race to have an armor set. But I don't think that you should have to level an older race, so an original race. I think it should be like the class mounts, right? Like, you just get a super lengthy quest line where you learn about how, you know, your original race was part of whatever faction they're part of, and then you unlock the armor. It wouldn't make sense for them to have you level another one, right?
Yeah, no. They would have to do, like, some campaign or something, some scenario, like, or make it somewhat lengthy.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be cool, because it could be tied to something going on in BFA where it's like, oh, you did this, we had this new armor we made, blah, 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 blah. It's human.
Ian said flat out, I don't see hero classes being...
Well, that wouldn't make any sense for them to be their own separate allied race.
I mean, they're heroes. You're already awesome. But I think we should stay focused. And who cares 20 years from now if fucking Volpera are going to be allied races? Guys, just be happy with what you have. This is the reason nobody invites us to dinner, because we're selfish and we always want more. What's the word? Insatiable?
I don't know. Selfish sounds nice.
Well, I do agree. I do think a Dark Iron Death Knight would be pretty legit. I'm sure Dark Irons are going to be able to be Death Knights, right?
As of right now, not I'm aware of.
Well, we only know of a couple. We haven't gotten all the...
Well, obviously nothing is solidified at this moment, but as of right now, they're not able to be.
Well, here's the thing, though. When I picture Dark Iron, I picture DKs. I don't know why. I'm sure it's probably wrong from a lore perspective.
Maybe because they're dark. That's racist.
Well, it feels like something a DK would be.
No,
but
Dark Irons are more like your kind. They're more like warlocks and mages. So
visually, they remind me of DKs, though.
Well, lore-wise,
I don't know why.
They're more like warlocks.
And that's, I respect that.
Probably because of the red eyes and the
Yeah,
stuff.
he did. Yeah, he said no. Yeah, he said no Death Knights or Demon Hunters because those were the two that were mentioned. But on the note of allied races, guys, I'm so excited because now I told everybody I was never going to change Belle's race unless it was human, right? I said this when we talked about when I rolled my Nightborn, right? Then, of course, I teased Rem about Kultaran humans, which ended up being a thing. Which is pretty funny, actually. For like 3 episodes, I got to tease him about that. But I've made an official decision. I am going to race change Belle to a Kultaran.
It's because the Kultaran females are thick.
But it's not the reason. It's because
it is.
Me and Kultaris, like, we're vibing, especially with, and I haven't even seen all the things yet. I was very briefly into the third zone that they had unlocked, but due to work. But like, I'm vibing with the Kultarans. We're like, I'm feeling a lot of their life. So I am gonna race change Belle to a Kultaran human. She's still human, so she's in that. You know, I said I'll always keep Belle human. She'll always be human. I will never change that. But yeah, I'm excited because. And new racials is nice, too. Unless the racials are really bad for PvP, I won't.
I doubt they did that.
But they mentioned something about racials anyway. At some point, they're probably just going to end up removing them altogether because that's what they like to do when it comes to fun stuff for PvP. But let's focus on something happy. So quickly, I want to talk about the pet battle stuff that's coming because they talked about reworking a lot of the pets. Now, one of the things that they did talk about is...
Jim, where's the pet paddles? Oh,
no, I've stuck with the human with this nerf. But here's the thing. It wasn't really nerfed. Okay, so I can't use it for some things, but it still stuns. Like, it's still useful to me. But, pets. So, they're introducing a new currency. So you don't need to hoard any of your pet charms. Spend them all willy-nilly. Just go nuts.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Buy hookers. Buy blow. Like, whatever. Spend your charms because they're introducing a brand new currency in BFA. You'll be able to buy lots of things. They're doing some reworking on the mechanics. Some pets are probably going to get a nerf. They did explain the reason they do that, which I never actually knew because I don't really pay attention to the pet battle stuff until recently. But they do that on purpose. So what happens with pet battles, which you pet battlers already know, there's a specific meta, just like with your, your God comp and like all the other, there's a specific set of your top 6 DPS that you have in a raid. Well, they like to shake up that meta. So they do, basically it's like decommissioning, right? They decommission the pets so that they do less damage so that they can bring in and see the evolving of the changing of the meta, which since people aren't going to do that on their own, they force the hand by nerfing it a little bit. But they are adding some new pet battle mechanics. A powerful spell that summons a random water effect, several additions to the suite of heals that will have an increased effect based off what the current state of your pet's health is, aura effects that heal your pet or can damage the enemy pet based on the last hit dealt. They are making some more specific changes to Bone Serpent, swapped positions with Call of Darkness and Liftoff. Crow and Gilnean Raven, minus 200 power, plus 200 speed. Which, I think, isn't speed... I don't know, Jim always said speed was the best for stuff.
It's nice because you get the first hit, and then you can... Yeah.
Cyclone, damage changed from 7 to 3 to 7. Haunch returns the pet to 50% health when sacrificed instead of 100. Tarot Claw Hatchling, which Jim's talked about that pet so much that I instantly hear his voice when I read the word Tarot Claw Hatchling. Dodge and Nature's Ward now occupy the same tier as do Hawkeye and Ravage. And then same thing. Trainers will be able to do the world quest, the pet battle world quests. The World Quest for the pet battles, it actually scales to the highest level of your current team. So if you have all little guys and you're trying to level your little guys, the trainers for the World Quest in Battle for Azeroth, they'll scale to that level, so you don't have to go to Parts Unknown to do that thing, which I don't know if they do that now because I don't do a lot of pet battles, but
guess as good as mine.
yeah, but at least it allows you to complete the World Quest with your low-level pets so that you can do what you need to do. So let's talk about... I'm going to talk about 4 of the new pets, and I want to show you. I have visuals, guys. I actually did my job. I did my job. So for this adorable little guy, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to go get him. He's the mummy. Obviously, he's undead. 2 of his, his specific abilities are Mummy Wrap and Gale Slash. It's basically like a ghost whirlwind is what happens. The ghost whirlwind comes down. So that's pretty much what that is. He's freaking adorable and I need him in my life. Like, I would love him. Oh, hold on. I did something.
I am not threatened by his existence.
Oh. And then this thing is the spawn of Marikatha? Question mark. He's a beast. His 2 specifics for his abilities are Dust Cloud and Know of Snakes. Then next we have the same blob. We have the same blob that we've had every expansion, just in a different color. The Filthy Slime. Obviously it's magic. The flavor text for this specific pet says, you're not entirely sure where this came from, nor do you really want to know, but you are sure that it does eat a tremendous amount of garbage. My personal favorite, guys.
So it's like that stuff in the public bathrooms. Just don't mess with it.
The Vengeful Chicken. Just feast your eyes on the Vengeful Chicken. Obviously, it's mechanical. The flavor text is so weird. So... the flavor text is, the wisest engineers of Azeroth all know that the only thing more dangerous than a living evil chicken is the mind of an evil chicken transplanted into the body of a mechanical chicken. Wait, what? So you actually, because these are pets that you get from dungeons, although I don't know that they have officially data mined where they come from, but so how you get this pet is you get a brain first. You get the chicken brain. And, like, that chicken brain turns it into a mechanical pet.
That's bizarre.
Listen, you don't want to fuck with the Vengeful Chicken because you get stuck on the wrong side of that beak. And
see, this is what happens when weed is legal in California. You get shit like this.
I'm going to have that chicken. Like, that chicken and the mummy, those are on my 2 lists. Honestly, though, that snake, I'm sure there's another version of that.
It looks updated though.
But doesn't it look a little not derpy, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's a nice little King Cobra kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But that chicken, like me and that chicken are going to be besties. I absolutely cannot wait. The sewage.
Now what happens if we put your evil brain in a mechanical body and it turns evil? Like that's terrifying.
Nobody wants me living forever, you know? My husband's going to want peace at some point. Okay. Mount talk. Let's talk about mounts. Are we ready? Let's do this. So the first one is the Teldrassil.
Close enough.
Close enough? It's better than what I've been saying, which is usually like a blah, blah, blah. So...
like you're telling Joselle that you're going to go to Teldrassil.
I used to say Teldrassil. So this is a hippogriff. Obviously, I talked about this mount the other day. I didn't have the visuals. I love hippogriffs. The main reason I like the hippogriffs is because when you're on the ground, which the first half of the expansion, we are on the ground, I don't necessarily want a flying mount that hovers above the ground. I like that it has 4 feet that you run, so you feel very fluid when you're running.
Yeah, it has a nice walking, running, and flying animation.
And the flying animation doesn't make me sick. It looks normal. Hippogriffs are some of my favorite as far as the being able to fly and be on the ground.
Same, geez.
Now, this is more than likely the burning of Teldrassil's pre-patch story reward, which is awesome. I'm in. Like, can we do this? Give me my mount. And then next up we have the... I had to get a close-up, so I zoomed like super in to get this one. So this is the battle for Lordaeron's pre-patch story reward. Well, we think the Undercity Plague Rat. Or
But
plague
where's-
bat. Bat, not rat. Honestly, I
I
don't
mean,
really,
looks like a rat.
I don't really like many of the bat mounts in general, or even bat models, but this thing looks pretty legit.
It looks badass with the armor and the
Yeah,
suit,
like,
yeah.
I could see me riding on this and fucking shit up. I mean, I don't
Like
know.
the Bloodwing was supposed to be some badass bat thing, but it just floats above the ground.
And then it just does this weird, what's supposed to be blood dripping from its mouth, but it's like this pink
Yeah,
mist.
yeah.
I paid money for that crap. Damn it. It's the same for the... What's the heart of the aspect?
Oh yeah,
That
the
makes me
retarded
sick to
wooden
even
thing,
ride
yeah.
because it does like this weird loop-de-loo. All right, next assumed prestige mount. Are we ready? Nothing says vicious like a hippo. Sometimes Blizzard makes me so happy that I can't
Well-
handle my life.
you do know that they kill more people in Africa than most animals.
I'm
so
sure,
that's
but I
pretty
just
vicious.
want to say that nothing says vicious like a hippo. Like, guys, I am going to
Hip-hop
go...
Anonymous?
I'm going to get this, and I'm going to ride with my gnome, and I'm going to fuck shit up on this hippo because it's a hippo and it's vicious. Like, grr. Honestly, I just want to hug it because it's cute.
Hip Hop Anonymous?
I'm so excited for this hippo, guys. I can't even, like, absolutely can't even stand it. Next up, we have 4. There's a couple other different vicious saddles that are being added for the prestige system. But they had relatively the same models as other ones. I kind of, when I show you guys stuff that I think is cool or that Rem thinks is cool, I want it to be stuff that's different, and the hippo is very different. But I love him. He's going to be...
Well, didn't they add that,
We're
that-
not there yet. We're going. Are you talking about that one we were talking about earlier?
maybe?
Hold on. We'll see. Okay, so there's 4 new dungeon mounts. So there was a slight debate over kind of hot in these rhinos. I fucking love Jim Carrey.
Oh, when he's climbing out.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that, Max. I needed that in my life. Okay. Now, I was a little bit confused because in my research, the label on this was like Sharkbait's favorite cracker. And I'm like, why the fuck is the bird called Sharkbait's favorite cracker? That's what you loot to be able to get the bird. So this is Sharkbait. Sharkbait has like 3 or 4 different color variations. It's a parrot. It's kind of cool. It has a fucking peg leg or a hook leg or something. I don't know.
Peg hook.
Well, and it has, I don't know, probably should have taken a second, I should have looped the model viewer around, but he has, like, little things on his back, almost like he could, like, on the lower part, like, he could also go into battle after being a mount. But, I mean, he's a mount. I don't know that we've ever been able to ride a giant bird, right? To Partos, you're probably right. Like a giant, like a parakeet type bird, right?
To Partos.
To Partos.
But
So
no, nothing like a parrot like this, no.
I think it's pretty cool. I want to be a fucking pirate, and instead of having one on my shoulder, I'm just going to ride one because animal cruelty is not a thing in
You're
WoW.
riding a parrot while having a parrot behind you will have maybe like a Pepe on your shoulder because that's the closest you can get. Even though I hate Pepe, he's devil incarnate, but you know.
God forbid people like Pepe. Next, so this guy you'll get from Freehold Dungeon. And next up, we have
Partos.
something that I'm actually, so this image does not do it justice. So this is what the model viewer shows, but he actually has armor, and that armor actually makes him look badass. But I couldn't find a good picture of the armor. So
That's a mummified raptor. That's cool.
yeah, and like the armor goes like kind of down his face. It's pretty badass though. The Tombstalker's what it's called. It's basically the same model as the Ravasaur, but I like it, so I'm in.
Partos.
You get this from King's Rest. And then next up, this is technically a dungeon mount because the schematic for this mount, you have to, it drops from one of the last boss in the Motherlode dungeon, which I think that's not really what it's called, but...
No,
yes. We have what I'm dubbing the old man version of Mimron, right? Because this looks super old. Like, this guy looks weathered. He's been through some shit. So engineers will be able to make this. I'm sure everybody already knows that. But you actually have to loot the schematic to be able to make him from the dungeon. So happy grinding, my dudes. This last one hurts my feelings. Every fiber of my being screams, set it on fire. So this,
Departos.
the Underroot Krog, Krog, I don't fucking know.
Oh, that's what I was telling you. It looks like a guar.
Yeah, that's why I knew, because I put it in here. So this is from the Underroot Dungeon. Here's my problem with this. Has anybody ever seen that Stephen King movie where there was like the 4 friends in like a cabin and an alien like invaded and they were like pooping out the alien and it was like attacking everybody from the inside out. It was like eating them and doing all kinds of weird stuff. Anybody see that? Because what happens is they see it come out of the guy after it like shreds his insides, and it looks basically like this. I don't know that I am going to be okay with seeing people on this mount, to be honest. Like, I don't know if anybody else shares this, but it doesn't look any better in like the model viewer when you see the front. I didn't do the front part because I didn't want to scare you guys, because it's pretty... I guess there is a lid for every pot, so people might like this, but it's not my get down.
You don't have any lids.
I don't have any lids to my fucking Tupperware. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I'm not about this life at all. This is not... I mean,
it is hideous, and it's nightmare-inducing, but I mean, I don't know what the Stephen King movie you're talking about, so I don't have those vibes going on.
We're going to have more BFA stuff next week. My plan is hopefully this weekend I have DitchCon stuff to do, which I'm going to give you the first official. I have not posted this anywhere yet because I'm still prepping to launch the Kickstarter and the event page and listing the dates for the RSVPs, because the RSVPs are going to be a little later this year. But you guys get to see the DitchCon graphic before everybody else does. This is my hard work and blood, sweat, and tears for like 6 days.
Literally blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, I'm not as good with the, No, we've never had this party on Halloween. So the DitchCon party is always the Wednesday of the week. Like, this is our 3rd year. So it happened to fall on Halloween this year, and I thought, holy shit, I've been given a gift because
I thought we agreed on party.
It's so no bash. So there was a big back and forth between bash and party, FYI. But I'm really a stickler for like the original graphic I did for the promotion. I completely I started over because I didn't like any of it. But I'm really weird like that. The teaser, I hope you guys saw the teaser. That little 25-second teaser took me like,
I don't think you want to admit.
at least 30 hours of actual work. Like, and that's not like
exaggerating.
Actual 30 hours. I mean, it was, I don't know After Effects as well as other people do, so I'm learning as I go. Yeah, so no, you're not going to be the only weirdo dressing up, because I have another tiny announcement that everybody who watches is going to get to know before anybody else. Had a conversation with my buddy Chad yesterday, and I thought, who better to help judge a Halloween contest at Hollow's End for DitchCon than somebody who has an immense amount of style? So Chad is actually going to be, he's going to help judge the costume contest. For those of you who don't know who Chad is, it's Celestalon. He might not be World of Warcraft anymore, but the heart is still World of Warcraft. He is going to be one of the judges for the costume contest, and I'm so excited because it just makes sense, like, especially when you know him. And
wow, I didn't even know about this.
I did not tell anybody about that, so you guys, you guys get to hear it her first, because I haven't put it on any other promo. I haven't done any of that. So I really, really want to share with you guys the decorations that we're doing, but I can't just yet. But I want to tell you that when I talk about immersion for Hollow's End, we're going to deliver. It's going to be the greatest party we've ever had. So
yeah, the room's going to be on fire. You have to grab the buckets with the water. It's going to be fun.
Right. But we have a lot we still have to do. I'm not ready to talk about it. I have enlisted. So guys, there's a lot of things that I am, right? Rem, you don't get to answer any of those questions because I don't know that I would respect that. But I'm creative, but I'm not artistic. I know what I like visually, but I don't know how to create it. I know what other people like, but I don't necessarily know how to make that happen. So I firmly believe in, you know, you don't have to be the master of all the things. That's why you surround yourself with people who are of the master of those things. I'm not really lore knowledgeable. I don't have to be because I have Rem. I'm not crafty. I want to be really bad inside because I feel like I would have more fun if I could do crafts, but I also have no patience. So I get frustrated. But I have, like, I don't know necessarily what to call her. She's like Martha Stewart and something that says fuck a lot in one. She's the crafty half of the duo, really, because I'm not any of those crafty things. I know it looks good, but I don't know how to do them. Which most of you have probably heard me reference, which it's Ella. She's actually my second half of my quadruple, triple friendship, best friendship. Because I have a guy best friend and a girl best friend. Rem is the guy, and Ella is the other half of that. So she's actually taking on the job of dealing with creating the decorations, but they're really good. We still have a couple things we have to like work out, but what we've got so far, like, it's super good. It's going to be really good.
So you'll never hear this again, but I will admit you are all of those things
What am I?
that you said: smart, creative, all that good stuff.
Yeah, like I'm halves of those, right? So like for
No,
every
not even half.
No, I'm
You
like
gotta go.
so for like when it comes to art and creative, those are
Well,
usually
not artsy, but creative.
right. Those are usually but those are usually in one thing. So
No.
I'm a half of each of those things because I lack the process to be able to do that kind of stuff. If that makes sense. Right? No? I don't know.
Totally.
I haven't decided what I'm going to be, but I really want to be... My brain instantly went to Galadriel. I actually was thinking about doing her because Ella can
Who?
make the dress, and there's a pattern that you can buy. But I don't know.
You say who?
I'm not
Who's
talking to you.
Galadriel?
Don't act like you don't know who that is.
Galadriel?
Well, listen.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm thinking of the same person. Lord of the Rings, yes?
Yeah, listen.
Okay.
At
I'm
least I can
sticking
speak
there.
regular English, okay? Let's just deal with one language at a time.
We've established that. I'm
Um,
good at the fantasy stuff. You're good at...
I do say fuck a lot. You are right. Now, the thing about Jari is I really want her to do, like, my face. Like, put on a whole new face. I was like, dude, at BlizzCon, can you just put on a whole new face? But she's always super busy. Like, she doesn't have a moment's peace. But more to come. The Kickstarter should be launching this weekend. I'm waiting on some confirmation for the art. So I have Firecat Rich, who's doing half of the art, and I have Noxie doing the second half of the art. So I have two really big powerhouses handling the art this year. For the t-shirts, we're going to do canvas prints. I'm pretty excited, actually, for stuff because we're kind of pulling out the big guns. But
My art submission wasn't accepted, guys. I'm sorry.
no. We don't do basic, okay? But we are going to do the Kickstarter. I wanted to have it live yesterday, but that's not what happened. I have a method video I have to finish prepping because I was supposed to send it last night, but I didn't get it done till like 2 this morning. But yeah, so keep an eye out for the Kickstarter if you're going. There's going to be the need for it, so I'm going to have to call out to all my friends to...
I have a mighty need!
Yeah, like all my friends, I'm going to need you to support because I do have to increase the budget for the Kickstarter. Not only did costs go up because costs go up every year, but for some additional things I had to increase it. But yeah, so you guys got all that information before anybody else because as Rem found out, there's things he didn't even know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a great time and I'm excited. So, I want to leave you guys with this thought before I ask Rem what he did this week in World of Warcraft. Somebody asked Ian a question about, like, they're feeling scared because the Horde seeming like the bad guys from the cutscenes and stuff, which I'm a little frustrated about because we shouldn't be seeing those. I think that all that shit should not be in
Well, a
there.
lot of it you can't see, actually.
But how does everybody fucking know? There's
Well-
whole scenarios in there of what's going on. Nothing
Yeah, but it's
is
not really spoilery.
It is for somebody who's managed to not even know anything about the Lordaeron or Teldrassil, anything outside of I know one of them is on fire.
It makes sense the way it pans out, but the cinematics that are like really heavy storytelling aren't really shown.
Well, I hope not, because I don't want to see that. But Ian said, evil is a matter of perspective. I'm going to leave you guys with that thought. So, evil is a matter of perspective.
That's the whole story of Warcraft. Sargeras didn't think he was evil. Illidan doesn't think he's evil. Arthas
I'm
isn't
convinced I'm not evil. Like,
debatable.
But I liked just when he said it, I just sat here and I smiled and I thought he gets me. Like clearly he's talking to me because evil is 100% a matter of perspective. And perspective, ladies and gentlemen, is the life lesson that I'm leaving you with today. Every week I've tried to do like a real life lesson. But yes, perspective is important because my perspective is not necessarily your perspective or Rem's or
So check
anybody
the
else's.
feet and perspective is
Check the feet and perspective. It's important to, it's important to have that perspective. Anyway, now that we've got a little deep for that, Rem, what did you do this week in the World of Warcraft? Because I actually don't know because I've been busy.
Well, with the shift of alpha to beta, I was just going into beta, getting everything set up again so I could do a lot more testing because with the war campaigns being really fleshed out, I really want to see what they're doing with that. But a lot of testing, I am slowly progressing the warrior. I'm going to be actually getting it to 110.
Didn't they do a character wipe? I thought I saw.
So everything's gone.
I had to restart anyway, but I've been avoiding it because I don't want to. Yeah.
A little sad. But I've been doing a lot of the alt on the warrior because I still don't have the armor because I've been squirreling, and with work starting back up for the summer soon, that's going to be hectic. So I want to get that done before next month. And now I'm just getting prepped for BFA at this point. A lot of the testing, and just I actually really important. All my tunes at 110 currently have the Order Hall campaign done. So my next objective in the following months is to get all the mounts and get all the rest of the classes
Good.
done, stuff like that. So actually, quite a bit.
I picked back up on the mage to get the mage's mount, and I realized that I stopped doing the class hall stuff because it was annoying. But you kind of have to do that. So well, you helped me because I was like Derpy McDo who doesn't know how to play a mage. I was like,
you're killing one at a time.
Yeah, I was in Suramar.
Kill them all.
I was in Suramar pulling one at a time, and you need 50 of you have to get their essence, the Nightborn, when you kill them. So in 3 hours, I got like 6. He comes on to help, and we were done in like 3 minutes. I'm like, wow. So I just realized I wasted a lot of my time being inefficient. But I try to do things on my own and be independent, but it's really sometimes I just don't have the brain power at the end of the night to do things. Like I need something that's mindless so I don't have to really focus.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm dumb, guys. I'm smart, but it's... Yeah, Rem does squirrel. He pretends like he doesn't and like it's all me.
Oh, no, I fully admit it.
Yeah,
Like,
he does. Guys,
bad.
I'm working on the guest list. I have confirmations that I'm waiting for, and then that'll be up on the website. Also, before we go, check out our Discord. People asked me, the Discord's been there for like 2 years. I never did anything with it. I am now doing something with it at the request of people. I don't know why people want to talk to us, but apparently they do. So, you can go to the website and it's there, or you can,
I got you, fam.
make sure it needs to be to the right channel. So
It is.
It is?
Yes.
It's the rules channel?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, come hang out. You're such a liar. It's not, is it? Yeah. Don't be arbitrarily creating invites. It needs to be to the rule channel.
You're a rule channel.
Well, here's the thing, because what happens when you don't have rules and people go and say the one thing you tell them not to say?
Okay, don't click. Well, it's the same one. See, we're good.
Okay, then we're good. If you are listening to this on iTunes, go to pwnecast.tv, and the Discord should be somewhere. I put it on there somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where I put it. But it's there somewhere. I know I put it on there. Come hang out. I try to be in there. I'm trying to be in there more and more. I'm doing some bots to make quality of life improvements. But I'm on Discord all the time anyway because the guild Discord and because the method Discord. So it's just a matter of being able to pay attention. But I do post things that I don't post or talk about publicly sometimes. Like the DitchCon stuff's been secret in there. Yeah. But come hang out. Eventually we'll end up doing contests and all kinds of cool things in there. Ultimately, Rem and I would like to be able to help and, you know, do that kind of thing for those that have questions and stuff. I really want it to be kind of just a hangout and, you know, stuff. And see a side that you see anyway because we're not different.
We're pretty much the same.
Yeah, I'm an asshole live. I'm an asshole not live. Like, this is me, guys. But it's BlizzCon crunch time, and I'm super excited. So, with that being said, guys, we had a longer episode than I ever thought we would have for just two of us. The rant from PvP stuff gave me a headache.
That kind of extended that.
Yeah, now I have a headache. But I had a great time. I feel like there's going to be a guest next week, but I don't remember for sure. I don't remember at all, actually. There might not be one next week, but I know the following we should have. Because I've been working on that in the background. Once I confirm that, it'll be up on the calendar. But if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you give us a comment. I feel like we haven't had as many comments as we used to. Maybe there's not that many people watching because there's downtime in between. Maybe the week we took off, everybody thought we died and stopped watching. Guys, we're still here. But yeah, I am working on my email. I did manage to get all the emails that disappeared. I put them into a folder for me to deal with this weekend, but I did find the emails because there was a lot of them. That, like, with the forward that I set up didn't go where it was supposed to go, but we did figure that out. So, guys, we are going to go ahead and get on out of here and go do stuff. Tomorrow's Friday. Thank God I didn't think I was going to make it. Yeah, thanks so much for giving us your hour and a half, 2 hours every week. Rem?
Yeah?
What you got to say, my dude?
Later's on the Menjay.
I knew you were going to say that. It's good to
you just don't fall into a rut when it's in between.
Honestly, I really want to go because I want to open that box.
What's in the box?
So what's in the box, which we can actually, like, we're winding down. It's pretty much the end of the show. It doesn't really matter. So I bought this monitor stand. I have 3 curved.
Oh, is it the new one?
I have 3 curved monitors, right? And the problem is I want them close to me, but not in my face. But I need more desk space, right? So I bought a monitor stand that held all 3 of them, but it didn't hold them where I wanted them. It was like, almost like it didn't understand the size of my monitors. It said it was built for the size of my monitors, but I don't think that they took, like, the fact that I have the wide curved ones.
The wide press curve, yeah.
So it was a nightmare. It took me a few hours to assemble, and I disassembled it and I sent it back. Amazon has a great return policy. So I found another arm that I think will be better, and I got just one this time. Instead of getting one that holds all of them, I'm going to start with one. I'm going to put my middle monitor on one, see how that works out. If that works out, then I'll get a separate arm for the other 2. That way I can position them where I want them without them being bound to one central, like, My green screen arrives tomorrow. I'm fucking stoked about that because I do hate that sometimes when I stream, I have to clean the back of my desk and I don't want to. So with the green screen, I don't have to. I get that tomorrow. I'm pretty excited.
We'll have to rearrange the desk then.
I banked some of my money for the videos that I make for Method, and I waited until I had a good amount, and I just used that to buy stuff for my office. Because my husband can't really complain because this money I earned that, it's not part of our normal budget. So I'm excited about that stuff. It's the little things. But we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. 7 a.m. Holy cow. Guys, I love you all. We're going to go do things. Yeah. Email us. Call us. Well, don't call.
Call me. Beat me if you want to reach me.
What is that?
Kim Possible.
Oh my God. You should send You should send a picture of your facial hair to my husband. You guys are kind of twins because you're doing it on the top lip and he's doing it on the chin.
I mean, I know it's gonna look dumb for a while, but
Are you really? You were serious? That wasn't like a joke. You're doing it. You're growing it out.
I'm for science.
I'm not gonna be seen in public with you, like at all. And we're supposed to all go to the movies on Sunday. No.
Just wait.
No. You are gonna need to handle that because
My facial hair is just light.
Heather and I are not gonna be seen with you. It's not gonna happen. My husband isn't shaved either. I'm not gonna be seen with him either. No.
Well, I'm keeping everything. I have to keep everything else